As RJ introduced, I'm Kirkwood Donavin'. I'm a senior here at Cornell, and I'm the Dickinson Fellow in Urban Policy Development. This summer I worked in Washington, D.C. at the United States Conference of Mayors. The conference is a political activist group organization which has membership of mayors of cities over 30,000. And the mayors, what they do is they get together twice a year for a biennial conference, and they decide on federal policy that they'd like to pursue through the conference. And then for the rest of the year, the staff of the United States Conference of Mayors works through this network of mayors, using the network of mayors to encourage this sort of federal policy in Washington, D.C. So that's where I came in. One of these such initiatives is called was the promotion of long-term funding for the Energy Block Grant Program, and that is a federal program. It was funded through the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act in 2008, and it was a one-year funding for all cities over 35,000 residents to do energy efficiency projects. And one of the initiatives of the United States Conference of Mayors was to get long-term funding for this program so that cities could count on the funding. And the things they did with the funding was like energy efficient light bulbs, maybe in municipal buildings, or solar panels to power the buildings. They did all kinds of things. They could do whatever they wanted. So the first day I was there, my site advisor, David Gatton, asked me what I was interested in, and one of the things I said I was interested in was energy. He said he had the perfect project for me, the Energy Block Grant Program. Most of my project was spent calling mayors' offices and talking to either the mayor's staff, or the development staff in the office. And so I learned a lot about the projects that they're enacting, and I talked to several mayors, and I took notes on what they were doing. I asked them to contact their federal representatives and encourage this program to be placed in the next energy bill, which was not, unfortunately, didn't come to fruition this summer. But if there was going to be a bill, we wanted it in there. We wanted long-term funding. Aside from that, I did some independent research, which is helpful to the United States Conference of Mayors. I researched more energy efficiency projects, loan programs to individuals, for instance, something I look into. I also looked into hotel occupancy taxes, another initiative of the United States Conference of Mayors, and how online travel companies are avoiding them. And finally, I looked into issues with inner city businesses and how to encourage growth in those areas. The experience I gained some intellectual experience with economics of the city, and I also gained professional experience, practical experience in DC. Intellectually, I learned a lot about the economy of the city. One of the first days I was there, David Gatton, my site advisor, gave me homework, he said, and gave me a book to read. It was about the efficiency of the city and why cities are important for our future because they're very efficient places to live, and how we can encourage people to live there in the future. And I was fascinated by the economy of the city. So I learned a lot about that. I also learned about how federal policy can affect cities. And that was the whole purpose of the United States Conference of Mayors, is to get effective federal policy to affect cities. Examples like gas taxes, how gas taxes affect cities, or how funding of the Highway Trust Fund affects cities. If it's easier to drive, people are less likely to live in cities. Practically, I gained professional work experience, of course. I dress up in a tie every day. DC is like one of the most professional places in the world, so it was a very, very immersive experience professionally. I also gained a Capitol Hill experience. I learned how to navigate Capitol Hill, how to go to committee meetings and report on them, how to meet my senator and representative, which we'll talk about in a second. So that was really important for me. In the future, the internship will impact me. It really did teach me that I really was interested in economics. I am an international relations major, and I had to take a macroeconomics class last year, but I found I really liked it. So this internship gave me an opportunity to explore more economics, and I find that I am indeed interested in it. And the things that I learned about at the United States Conference of Mayors will help me in the future for practical experience in things like energy efficiency and inner city businesses and how these things are related. Professionally, I got some Capitol Hill networking. Here's a picture of me meeting Representative Loebsack from Iowa's 2nd District. That was probably, he's the favorite person I met in government while I was in DC, because he was very interested in my experience at Cornell, of course, because he was a professor here at one time. And I also gained the skills that I needed to work in a public policy arena while working in the United States Conference of Mayors, the calling and the thinking about economics and how these things all relate. In the future, I hope that this interest in economics will develop further and I'll be able to attend graduate school, perhaps, in economics. That's what I plan to do as long as I continue to like it. And I also, my site advisor was pleased enough with my work to invite me back in January. I never got to see a conference happen, which is a big part of what goes on in the United States Conference of Mayors, but I didn't get to see it. So he invited me back in January winter meeting, which may be a good opportunity. And I would like this. My fellowship was in honor of Lester Jesse Dickinson, class of 1898. He was a representative in the 30s, I believe. And I would like to thank my site supervisor, David Gatton, my faculty advisor, who couldn't be here, David Yamanishi, and the Cornell Fellowship Program, including Jason Napoli, R.J. Holmes Leopold, and Rob Sutherland, who gave an introduction. Thank you.